buyer, and I got a short video this morning on what to look for when you're looking at apartment complexes. We're going to use one of our complexes here as an example because we've got some unique things going on at this complex that I think would serve as a good lesson for somebody. So this is a 72-unit apartment complex, but it's made up of a couple of different things because it was two different complexes before. At some point in time, the owner of one bought the other and combined it. So on this property we have what's called a chiller system, and we have individual AC systems. And when you go to an apartment complex and you're looking at it as a potential purchase, you want to identify which type of system you have in place. In this case, we identified we had both. So let me show you some of the things that you would look for. Now behind me you'll see our chiller system. Now this is a system that is actually the AC for about 60 units of this property, okay? It only has one AC, and it runs chilled water through large pipes, about 3-inch pipes, into all of these buildings and into all these units. Then cool air blows across those pipes and a coil to cool the rooms. This is a little bit different than what your individual AC systems are going to look like. So when you go to a property, if you're looking at a property that has a chiller system, that's a property I would typically stay away from. These chillers are extremely expensive to replace, and they are very problematic down the road with leaks and things of that nature. Now, I did not disqualify this property because of the chiller, simply because it's only a 2-year-old chiller. It was replaced 2 years ago at the cost of about $70,000, and as far as chillers go, that's a very small one. Most of the chillers you see are going to be much larger than this one because it only services 60 units. It's probably the smallest one I've ever seen. So if you can imagine, that's a small one and it costs 70 grand to replace. Most chiller systems are going to be well over $100,000 to replace. Probably a purchase that you'd want to stay away from unless it has a new chiller in place for you. Now, if it doesn't have a chiller, then obviously it's going to have individual ACs, and I'll have Yvette take the camera just around the corner here, and we'll shine up onto a roof and show you some of those. They're going to look just like your home AC system. You can see that we've got a building over here that has, you can just see the tops of the ACs up on top of the building. Now that's just a standard individual AC system, much like you'd have in your house. You'll find these ACs usually in two different places, either up on the roof like this one is, or you'll find them down around the building on the ground. That's a much more desirable situation than the chiller system. Now, while we're doing this, I wanted to also talk about the difference in roofs, because this property offers a unique opportunity there as well. If you'll notice where we have the individual ACs, which again is the preferable type, those are on what we call a flat roof. And that is not the preferable roof type. Now, if we can come this way a bit, and we'll shine up onto this roof, you'll see this one has a pitched roof, and in fact all of the rest of the buildings on this property have a flat roof, or excuse me, have a pitched roof. When you're looking at roofing, you definitely want to have the pitched over flat. There's a couple of reasons for that. First of all, the product to replace this roof is much less expensive on pitched than flat. And also, many more roofers are able to do pitched roofs than flat roofs. It takes special equipment, and special training, and special materials to do these mansard or flat style roofs. So, if you have an option, I would say that you would want to stay away from chillers, and you would also want to stay away from flat roofs. Obviously, we did not do that in this particular case because there were extenuating circumstances. But that would be my preference when I'm looking at properties to purchase. All right, thanks a lot. Hopefully you got something out of that, and I'll see you next week for another tip on buying apartment complexes.